Hey guys, Breezy Reef here. Wanted to bring you an update on my 24-gallon Nano cube. Everything's doing pretty good. This little cluster of corals doing great. Showing really nice color. My newer colony of acans. It's got some new heads coming in along the base. And this photosynthetic gorgonian does really well in this system. I have a piece upstairs in my 90-gallon. Doesn't do quite as well. Really nice piece. It's got bright purple coloring on the base, and right now all the polyps are out. The anemone's doing good, but I'm going to get on to a couple of issues that I'm having in this system since my last update. And one of them is my large colony of GSP, green star polyps. Not looking too good at all. A lot of them the polyps are shriveling up, kind of melting away. It started about 2.5 weeks ago. Less and less polyps are coming out. Even the ones that are coming out, they're just not near as full as they once were. The color's not the same. Pretty discouraging. I tested my water, everything checked out, temperature's fine, the saline level's pretty much the same. So I was racking my brain quite a bit to figure out what went wrong here, and I have a couple of theories. One is, on my last update on my 90-gallon, I explained I lost a couple of SPS corals, and I had to increase my dosing, 2-part buffer system. On my 90-gallon, I've been dosing it almost every day. So once I started that about a month ago, I just decided to come down here and dose my 24-gallon Nano cube, which I hadn't done in a very long time. The system just kind of cruises along and is very stable. But I thought maybe it could benefit my Crocea clam. And other than that, I mean, I just have that Stylophora there, but that's a really hardy SPS, and I don't think it would really need dosing. And I only dosed it once a week for 3 weeks, but I'm not sure if that slight change in the water chemistry affected this colony of GSP. So that's one of the theories. The other one is I did some research online and just kind of read that some different varieties of clove polyps and xenia will do really well for 2-3 years in a system, and then just kind of for no reason at all just start to melt away and die off. They just kind of run their course. So I'm not sure if that happened here, but kind of a bummer. It's such a healthy system. I hate when all of a sudden something's not looking too good. There's 2 rocks here. There's this rock, which obviously I'd keep. It's got the anemones mounted to the base of it, some Humicordia, everything's doing fine. But then there's this rock resting on top, which is just completely covered in the GSP. And if it keeps going south, I'm going to remove that rock. And then I'd go get another piece of live rock and put it in its place, and I'd have some room there for some new corals. So I'm going to keep an eye on this for a little bit longer. If it keeps fading away, that's what I'm going to do. On to the other issue. About a week ago, I came downstairs one morning and I found that my Tailspot Blenny, the other fish in this tank, had jumped from the display up into the first chamber right here. Yeah, he was dead. I add RO water to this tank about every 2 days, and at the time the water level in the back chambers here was a little low, so that blue sponge was totally exposed. And I found him right on top of that sponge, so really a bummer. I mean, like everyone else, I really hate when I lose a fish. I kind of feel like maybe this saddleback clown had something to do with it, like most other clownfish I own. It's pretty aggressive and never all out attacked the Tailspot Blenny, but definitely was very aggressive towards it, especially during feeding. And a number of times recently when I would feed these fish, the saddleback clown would quickly chase the Tailspot Blenny up into this corner. Be like a really quick movement, and they would both shoot up into this corner, and I think maybe he did that, and the Tailspot Blenny then just jumped over. So I obviously keep this tank mostly open. I only have that single pane of glass holding my LED light fixture. I used to have it completely covered, so if that was the case, I wouldn't have lost that fish, but I have to keep this open mainly because of heat issues. I do own a JBJ chiller that for the first year I ran on this system. I had the HQI metal halide lid, so the tank ran a lot hotter back then, and I had to run the chiller for the first year. But now with my filtration, I have the in-tank media rack, and I have the refugium in the middle chamber. I just don't have the real estate to run the chiller anymore with the pump and the hoses that it requires, so I don't run the chiller, and honestly I don't miss it at all. It kind of made quite a bit of noise in my living room, kicking on and off. And I really like the way my filtration is set up on this system, so no more chiller here. But that's kind of the disadvantage. I have lost a handful of fish out of this tank in the last few years that have jumped out. So those are the two setbacks recently, and other than that, I mean, the system's fine. I think I'm going to get through this. Everything else is doing well. I'll probably get another fish here at some point. The system can definitely support a second fish, and I'll probably start looking into that and maybe look for something a little more aggressive that can hold its own against the saddleback clown. So I'll keep you updated on that. I'll also be coming back to you with a video soon on my 90 gallon, show you what's going on there, and I'll talk to you then. Take care.